There are such places you will be mesmerized. Miracle, miracle Thailand.
In today's episode, we're going to have a look at booking the cars, the hire cars in Chiang Mai and also in Bangkok, just to give you a rough idea of prices. Hello and welcome to part 3 of planning Thailand adventure number 5, and today we're going to talk about car rental in Chiang Mai and in Suvarnabhumi airport, because we'll be coming back on the aeroplane. So car rental, you know, if you do a car rental search, my normal company that I use is rentalcars.com, because I find that they are actually the cheapest, because they search for all of the other companies such as Eurocar and National and Avis, and they are pretty good with their prices. And with having one website to deal with, it's a lot easier than mucking around trying to find different companies to book with. But you can also go on to these TripAdvisor, so I do have a affiliate link for that on my website. So they quote £12 a day, but it never is that price. What we can do is we'll go through and have a look at the prices. So Chiang Mai is my first stop, and we will put in there the actual date, which will be the 28th, and we will come back on the April the 2nd, and this is actually the proper dates that I'm putting in for my trip. And they search all of those. They search all of these companies, including the Thai car rental, the Thai rent, which I normally have. But this time I've gone for another company. I've gone for I can't remember now. It's pretty good. I can't remember. So here are the prices. So a Nissan Almera, which I have had in the past, is actually 88 quid for those 5 days, which seems like a lot of money, but you do get a pretty good, large car. But the annoying thing about this site is that they don't tell you who it's with until you book. So they just give you these the idea, but they don't tell you who it's with, which is really annoying. But it's in the terminal, so it's going to be one of the big companies. The Yaris is quite small. The Mirage is quite small. Now these are all automatic. They only really seem to do automatics. For a slightly larger car, there's a £100. There's a Honda City, and they can go all the way. I mean, this is a car that I think I've got this time round in Bangkok, the Sylphy. I've never had one of those cars before, but this is obviously the price for 5 days. I think I've got an Almera, or is it an Altis? I can't remember whether it's an Altis. It might be an Altis. Anyway, whichever car it is, it's going to be for 5 days, and pick up from the airport and drop off at the airport. So if you have the money, then a larger car like the Vios is quite nice. Yeah, so there's lots of choice. Let's go back up. And if you want a premium car, then you're talking pretty much that's 200 quid for 5 days. You can have the lovely big Fortuner, which is flipping huge. Again, that's 200 quid for 5 days. But it depends on your budget. Now look, they have put the hire company there, so Avis. They have put it on the more expensive cars. I'm pretty sure it's probably going to be Avis that I'm having this time, or it could be National. I'm not sure. Anyway, whichever one it is. So, yeah, and that is basically it. And this whole thing, you have to sign in, and you can manage your bookings here. So it's pretty good. So if we go back, we can do Bangkok, and just show you the I get it from the airport. So the second of April, which is then, and 24th. Obviously, I've not put any times in there, so it will depend on times as well. There's no credit card fees, no amendment fees, so that means you can change any of the details easily. So it's a Ciaz I had. That's the one I've got, the Ciaz, which you can see nearly £350 for the remainder of the trip. So quite a large expense to do if you're going to hire a car. And of course you have to be able to drive in Thailand. But the other, it just goes all the way up, really, really stupid prices. There's a SRV there with 700 quid. 700 quid. That's actually more than I paid for the airfare. But if you had a lot of people, then obviously it would be cost effective. And some of these are actually foreign makes. Like they won't find these models in the UK, because I've never heard of these. But nearly £900 is a bit ridiculous. It would have to be gold plated. Yes, right. So that's it, really. That's how you gonna see if you can find a car. Obviously, we're just doing maybe you're doing local bike hire. Then you would go and look locally for bike hire. This is sort of an addendum to the vlog that I did the other day, and I realised when I was editing it I didn't really tell you much about the hire car situation, and several questions have come up on the comments regarding hire cars and how far it is to travel. So just to give you a rough idea, when you're going from say Bangkok to Khon Kaen, I'd probably use just under a tank full of fuel. Now when you go to the station to refuel, it normally is about 900 baht. It's only ever once been more than 1,000 baht, and that was because it was totally empty. But usually it's about 900 baht to fill up the car, and even less when it's a Mirage. But I've not been having the Mirage because it's fairly small, and when you've got a lot of people in the car, it tends to be very sluggish. So we would go for a slightly larger car. However, obviously then it will cost more to run. But when you look at the price of fuel, you're going to be paying around about 20-25 baht per litre. So compare that to UK, you can see that it's half the price roughly. In the UK it's like 120 a litre, give or take the exchange rate. And considering that the distances aren't that huge, when you compare it to things like going from London to Manchester, you're talking about 5-6 hours. Most of it is motorway. The same sort of thing can be applied to the Bangkok to Khon Kaen route. There's only probably a third of it which is not very good, but it's still quite good compared to other rural roads. And then when you get to the Korat area, it's all dual carriageway all the way up to the Khon Kaen and beyond. So it's good. You could do 120k per hour legally, and it's pretty good. And you can sort of drive that speed constantly. You haven't got to keep on slowing down, except for idiots that come up and pull out in front of you. But generally, fuel economy is quite good. And when you go and refuel, you haven't even got to get out the car. You just wind down your window and hand over the money, and they do all the work for you, which is quite good. Unusual here for the UK, where it's all self-service. Anyway, I just thought that information would be useful. And if you want to come back again, then part 4 will be looking at the booking of the internal air flights. So I'll catch you again very soon. Bye for now.